in the jewelry and accessory making world. We do lots of different things here. Twice a week we have chats. That's where you get to ask all types of questions about jewelry making and running your small business. Also, we do tutorials. This week we have two tutorials, and today we have one. That's what we're doing right now, and it is a part 3 of the purse bling, a purse handle bling. We're gonna do this style, where we're just gonna have one style. Here I did something I don't normally do. I mixed silver, we have gunmetal, and we have gold. I don't know if I'm going to mix metals on the next one or not, but I mixed metals, everybody. Woohoo! So this is what we're going to do today, is this one right here. And yes, we did get the purse. This is what it looks like with that one with the purse. So that is what we're looking at. You can put as much or as little as you want. If you didn't want this on here, it'll take me a moment to get it off, so I'm not taking it off right now. You can just do something like this, something simple. But I'm wanting to teach you how to do different ways, different techniques that could be just one, multiple. You can stack it, layer it, what you would like to do. So that's what this is all about. So that's what we're going to be doing today on the tutorial. Tonight at 8 p.m., we're going to have Makers Meetup, which is where you get to come on to the live if you like, and we are going to be creating jewelry or doing something together. So you won't see my face, you're going to see my table. Yay, you did! Now, we do not have Ashley again today. So if you could, everybody over here on TikTok, can you share it out? Sharing it is different ways. You can go ahead and hit that arrow, and you can then do the add to your story or add to story, and then it's going to add it to your story. So go ahead and do that. That gets put out into the TikTok world. I'm going to bring up my backup account and do the same thing. Another thing that you can do is that you can repost. You go down to that arrow and you'll see one that says repost. If you touch that, it just reposts it out into the FYP so that more people can see it. If you have friends that like jewelry and that type of thing, go ahead and share it with them. So let me get into my backup account so that I can do all that. I can do the repost and I can do the story on my account here. I'm getting into it so I can do it. And then other things, if we can get to 10 shares, 10,000 likes, we'll start doing giveaways. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, we will be having a encore of items that we've had before. I'm still working on that. I will probably know more at 8 o'clock what items I will be bringing with me, just so you know. And then, whoop, let's get that. There we go. I got it reposted. That's why I haven't sent to anybody, so we'll just get it out there and add to my stories. There we go. All right, it is on my story now. Okay, so that is what we have going on for the next couple of days. So for today, I'm going to bring this back up here. I have a swivel lobster claw clasp that has the bar on it. More of a bar shape rather than just, I've got a different one here. I'm going to try. Hello, Amy. I knew it when I saw your username that it was you because it's similar to something else. I'm going to use one of them that has the U here for today, for this next one. So we are going to use, we're going to mix metal, I guess. We're going to use this one because I want to see what it looks like on that. So we need one of those. We need some of the faux suede. Last night, this is what I was talking about. We'll need some chain in any color that we want to select. And then we need some beads. And we're going to create a bead chain. These are the white cat eye gorgonia beads. So I didn't pick anything like outrageous on color on the beads, but if you want to add more color, you sure can. I wanted to tie it in with this one here. This one is the glitter white, so then I just thought cat eye white. We're using different textures to create this, but our color themes are similar. So that is what we are going to do. So that's what you're going to need for, you're going to need head pins, chain, and some faux suede. Tools. You are going to, for the chain, you're going to need 2 of the chain nose pliers. You may need, depending on what kind of chain you select, you may need a jump ring, okay? To use the faux suede, all I need is a pair of scissors. And then for the the bead chain that we're going to make, you need a flush cutter, a round nose plier, and 1 or 2, depending on how you hold it, of the flat nose or the chain nose plier. Also, we are going to use a Sharpie, and we are going to mark. I have it very faintly on here. You can barely see it. I have a line. Hey, Nordic Luna. I am going to color in a line here with a Sharpie on my chain nose plier. I'll explain when we go to make our bead chain why I'm doing that. So we're going to use, and we're going to put this one on this bag. The one we're going to make in this tutorial, we're going to add to this bag. So we've got this. This one is the antique, or red copper, I believe is what this one is. These items are all out on our studio. If you want them, I can give you the SKU. Yes, this is a red copper alloy swivel lobster claw clasp. The other one that we used is a platinum swivel lobster claw clasp. All right. Now, we got to figure out what color chain do I want to use with my red copper. And I have, right here, next to me, we have an antique bronze. We're going to mix some metals up, okay? So I think I'm going to do antique bronze. This one here on this bag is about 4 inches from the bottom of the swivel down. This is 4 inches. This is about 4.5. He's a little bit less than 4 inches for the chain. So somewhere around 4 inches is how long I'm going to make it from the bottom of the swivel. So I'm going to get handy dandy ruler. I'm going to point you down so you can see how I am doing this, okay? So here you go. When I send you guys down, I will not be able to see comments on the tube. And what about the non-metal chain? The acrylic, you could use that too. I just don't have any more of it. So I'm going to move this down. Yes, you can use the acrylic chain too, and that will give you some fun, whimsical colors in there too. All right. So, and TikTok, I can see your comments as long as I look over on my backup account. So I'm going to do 4 inches, which is right here. Most of the chain that I use is not soldered together. So you just open it up, each link, like you would a jump ring. One towards you, one away. Take off the chain. This one is large enough in the link size, in the inside of it, that it will fit on this swivel just fine. So I'm just going to add that to my swivel and close it up. You close it up by going the opposite direction that you used to open it. You want to make sure that this is together and that you don't have a gaping hole. So that is what we got so far. Now we need to pick. This is my container of the faux suede. So the faux suede that you see that you're, the 1 meter size, it comes on spools like this, and I have them cut it down to 1 meter. Just because I didn't know that you would want like 50 meters of the same color of faux suede. I don't know that I want this color because our gorgonias are glitter purple on that black bag that we're going to add this to. And then we have a yellow, white and yellow daisy. We have the fishbowl, if I remember correctly, which is blue. And then the giraffe. So I want to kind of keep it with that. So I was wondering if I wanted to do the purple. That's the one we did last night. But I'm also wondering if we want to bring in some blue to kind of tone down or go with the tones that we have here. And I have not used this one before. So that's why I think I'm going to go with this one. If I can get it open. There we go. And because you are doubling this over and such, I'm going to go longer than 4 inches. I am actually, he's all kinky on the end, so I'm going to cut my end off. I'm actually going to cut off a 10-inch piece of the faux suede. And you're going to pull on it a little bit as you're doing this, because see, it's got some kinks in it from being wound up on this spool. So let's get 10 inches. We're going to cut that off. Find the halfway point like this. So all I did is fold it in half. I'm going to put this onto my swivel. Sorry, my eyeball is itching. So I'm going to put the circle part through and then bring the ends through the center of that circle part that we put through. So that is what we've got so far. Now, I want my ends to be a little bit more decorative than just a flat end. And so what I do is I bring them together. And on one side, I'm going to cut this way, and the other side, I'm going to cut this way. Just so that I have, I'm holding the wrong part of the swivel. I was holding the chain and not the swivel. Just so that our ends are at an angle. So that is what we did. Now we're going to create a cord chain. And we're going to pick a different color of beads. I don't know that I want to do purple, but I want it to match in with these. Ooh. Should we do the black with blue? Glitter gorgonias? Or is that too dark? Yep, we could use a tassel from last night and use a jump ring and put that on there. Yep, and you can actually just put a swivel, attach that, those tassels that we had last night with a swivel, and you can put that onto the purse and just have it by itself too. Orange and yellow. I don't know that I have orange and yellow up here. I was going through my container of what I have left over from when I did it. I have in cat eye 8mm. I have those two. I have green and white. Where are my 6mm at? Let me go look and see what I got for 6mm. Those are 8mm. Where? There they are. They're hiding from me. What do we have in the 6mm size? Well, I don't have any orange because I am not like sold on that one. So we'll put those back. Let's see. These are the cat eye colors that we have in here. And this is the glitter purple is like this. No. Yeah, it's this glitter purple is the other one that we have. So I want to kind of stay similar to that. Okay, I can do it. Hold on. Can you see it here? He's got to flip over. There we go. So those are some of the colors. We have the white with the gold or the yellow center. We have the pink giraffe and then the fishbowl. And then these two colors of the glitter gorgonia, light and light purple and purple. So we've got this so far. We're going to put it on this side. White and pink. Okay. This color pink or a light pink? Because we have some more pinks in here. If we would go with the glitter Gorgonias, here, I'm going to put these away for just a second and you can decide here. The lighter, because if we go here instead of cat eye, but we go with glitter, we have the deep pink and we have white. We have those two. I think those will go great with it. We'll try that and see where we're at in length for that. All right. Let me grab some head pins. You are going to need a little bit longer head pins. And I might not have them in this bowl. I don't. I have eye pins, but I don't want to use eye pins. You're going to have a little bit in between. And that's why I was like thinking this may not be enough, but we're going to try it. Because here's 4 inches. So it may be, it may not be. We're gonna measure as we go. But I gotta go grab some different head pins. So hold on a second. What I have in there, there's not long ones. I make the circle on both ends to keep it consistent. Here we go. Grabbing a container of head pins. All right. We're going to use, these are really long ones. We may not need this long of ones, but we're going to use these. Okay. For the first one that we're going to use, we're going to be at the bottom. So you're going to want to take and leave that head of the head pin on. Put your bead on. We are going to create a loop by using that line that we have on our pliers and go 90 degrees away after we got everything lined up. And then we're going to reposition our tool 45 degrees in that angle we just created. Bring this around the top back towards you. Then you'll get to a point where that bead's almost touch, or the wire is almost touching the bead. At that point, loosen up your grip on the pliers and bring this bottom one to the top. And that opens up some room so you can finish your circle. The reason why you do that 45 degree is so that you have an O instead of a D for your loop. You can use either your round nose pliers or your chain nose pliers to hold that loop. Grab a hold of your other plier and wrap that around, that wire around. Your base and then cut off the excess here. I don't have any head pins that have a pearl. I have some that have the ball, but not a pearl. And then there we have our first loop. Now we're going to grab another head pin. On the end where the head pin is at, grab your plier, line it up about 1/3 of the way down from your top of the wire. Do 90 degrees, reposition and bring it around. You're welcome. Reposition the tool, complete your circle, hold that. Whoops, you got to open it up. I almost forgot this step. Whoop. This would have been a fail. And then put that on there, close it up, and now wrap that around the main wire of the head pin. Cut off the end. And what we've done here is we have created a loop and connected those two together. Now we're going to take a white glitter Gorgonia 6mm, put it on, and we are going to create our loop on the other end. So we're going to go 90 degrees away, reposition your tool, 45 degrees in that angle, bring it around. Yes, you can do it with regular wire. If you're going to do regular wire, what I would suggest doing is using a 20 to 22 gauge wire. I just always use head pins for these. You can use eye pins, head pins, or wire to do what I'm doing to create this chain. So we created 2 bead chain right now. We're going to keep going and creating that chain. Just going to straighten that one end of the head pin out. Turn this over. Our head pin will be on the upside, about 1/3 of the way down. Create our loop. There is out on the tube a video called Dangle Earrings. It is a pinned video in the, I can't think of what section it is all of a sudden, but where you can go and find it very quickly. That video shows you how to do the loop from where I am sitting at, instead of it being the opposite across from me. I haven't been able to figure out how to do that floating bead chain without using chain in between the beads. It would be really cool to do that, but I have yet to figure it out. I have been trying to work on it and seeing how to do it. But you can do in between chains this floating, that it's a technique that Stacy showed us how to do. So you could do a bead, a piece of chain, and then do another floating bead. It would be really cool to see that. There we go. Don't need that bead on yet. Hold on. We are going to create the bottom circles, what we need first. I like that idea though, Nordic Luna. You wouldn't have to use as many beads then. You could do more of the chain. Wrap this around. Cut off that extra. Now we'll put that bead on and we'll create our loop. See, instead of using the flat nose, you can use these to hold it. I was actually taught when I first did it to always use this plier. But then I started using my round nose because then I didn't have to pick up an extra plier. I have one of us doing it, Robin, out on the tube. So what it is that you use a piece of wire and chain. So you would have the chain on one end and you would have a piece of wire in the bead. You go through the chain, around, and then back through the bead. And then on the other end, you have another piece of chain that you add through that wire and you bring it around and you bring it back. You leave both pieces on because once you get both pieces, you pull on them to tighten that up so that it appears floating. It is a very cool technique. Very simple technique once you figure it out, but really cool. We did that about, I would say, 3 weeks ago. Now, keeping the head pin on only works if you have a larger hole for your loop. If you have a smaller hole for your loop, you would have to cut off that head pin to get it to go through. But I did a bigger one, so I wouldn't have to always cut it off. It saves you a step, unless you're going to use a piece of wire. Let me see how long this is. We are at 2 3/4 inches, so we're going to keep going. I am using 6mm glitter gorgonia beads. This one is the clear, and this is the deep pink color. There we go. Yeah, they have some really cool colors in gorgonias, and depending on the size and the shape, it sometimes makes them appear differently. So, and that someone was asking me, do I like cat eye or glitter better? And I don't have a real good choice, because in some beads I really like them in cat eye. Sometimes I really like them in glitter. And so I don't have a preference. Well, I have to cut the tip off because I did that one the other way. All right. I'm going to see how long this is. We are at 4 inches right now. So I am going to open this up. I'm going to have the blue part be in the middle. So I'm going to add my gorgonia bead chain to this end of my swivel clasp. I'm going to close it up, grab my pliers, and we're going to cut off that end. There we go. So I didn't even need all of those. And there is our bead chain on this. It's cool. I'm going to bring you guys up. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. I'm going to grab our bag, and we're going to add this to this. Gorgonias are really cool. Then flip that through. There we go. And there we have, got to get it out of the pocket. There we go. So that's just something subtle. So yep, that's what I like about these. There's a magnet in there, and so the chain wants to go to the magnet. It right here is a magnet closure for the bag pocket, so it opens and closes with a magnet. And so my chain is sticking to the magnet. So is both chains are. So guess what? It'll always stay right there. Who would have thought a magnet would have caused that? But there we go. And like the tassels that we had last night, if you wanted to add a tassel, you sure can. You can do all kinds of different things to just jazz up your bags and your purse. So that is what I wanted to show you what to do today. And guess what, everybody? I did red copper, antique bronze, and silver. I mixed the metals again. For someone who does not mix metals, that is amazing for me. Because I surely do not mix them up. Now, I am going to go grab, because I have a whole bunch of chain over here, so I can grab some of the chain. But I want to go grab my 28 gauge wire. I cannot mix metals, so I did 2 of them in a row today with mixed metals, which is amazing for me. So I'm going to go grab my 28 gauge wire, and I will show you that floating bead that we were talking about. So you could replace the bead chain with the floating bead. So hold on while I go do that. Because I think that's a great idea. All right. Okay. You know, I've been thinking about this. When we get into the new area, I've been trying to figure out how in the world are we going to have the bead wall behind me. I literally have not figured that out yet. All right, so we have our wire. I'm going to use, usually, you can use a finer wire like this. Now to get this onto the swivel, you would have to, because with this, there isn't that much room. This would not fit on the swivel. The link wouldn't. So you would need to put it in a jump ring or a split ring to get it onto the swivel at the top, okay? So, and I think this is soldered if I remember correctly. I just got to double check something here before we start. And I got to get rid of my hair. Let's see. Maybe it's not soldered. Hold on. Let me figure this out. Nope, it is not. So we don't have to cut this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I forgot the name of this one. I know Sky is in it, but I can't remember the rest of it. We're going to use this cat eye bead to do this with. We're not going to need very many. I'm going to point y'all down again, okay? So hold on here. Okay. So let's do 1.5 inches of chain. We're going to open and close that piece, the link that we're going to do to remove it. It's right there. For this project, you're just going to need 2 pliers. So open and close the chain. So we opened it. If you didn't want to close it and you're okay losing a length, you would just throw away that link if you didn't want it. Okay. Now we're going to take about 2.5 inches. I'm going to go with 3 inches of the wire. It's probably too much. We need another 1.5 inches of chain because I need both lengths of my chain to do this. I almost forgot that second piece. Ah! I dropped it. Well, fiddlestickies. Come out. Where are you coming out at? There we go. He's all bent up. All right. We're going to take, and on the bead, put it on the wire in the middle. Okay. We're going to grab one piece of the wire, string the one piece of the chain, put the wire through it, go over the top of that chain and back through the bead and pull that down. I take this wire and just bend it down so that it's out of my way. I grab my other chain, put it on the wire, and go back through the other way. Now I grab a hold of my pliers with my wire and I pull that in. And then I'm going to cut off my wire that I have coming out. And we have floating bead. I'm going to bring that up. Bring these cameras up. It's very, very simple technique. I could have made these smaller and done this like, I need my wire. I'm just going to use this there. There we go. Like this. Yep. You can have this be any length. You can do these into earrings. So like you'd have an earring, but I would not do as long unless you want really long earrings. But you could do like every so often. You can do this into a necklace with any type of bead. Stacy even used a butterfly bead, so it just looked like it was floating in the chain. You can do this to make the chain to go onto the bag, or the bag bling that we just made. You can even do this as an anklet. Can you imagine having that as an anklet? That would be cute for this summer. You can also do it as a bracelet. And you can just do the one bead and just have the bracelet go all the way around. Ooh, a ring. And just put those together. So yeah, that is the floating bead. I like that idea for a ring. As long as you made it big enough to go over your knuckles. I don't have very big knuckles yet. I would just open and close the link because my knuckles are, I would be able to get it on and off. So if you look at my fingers, I don't have big knuckles. So for me, it would work. Not everybody's like that, but I am. My finger, and I don't have very long fingers either. I don't have very much room between my knuckle and my hand. So I don't have very large rings. So that, like a 6mm would be perfect for me. 8 might be getting too big. Yep, I do not have that. I'm very lucky. I do have an owie on my finger right now over here. That's why I was like, oh, I don't want to show that hand because I have an owie there. But yeah, so for me, I could do it. I don't know, Nordic Luna, what would you do? That's what I would do, but you can tell me. So that is how you do the floating bead with 2 pieces of chain. And the thing is that I think that when Stacy taught that, I was like, I don't get it. And then it took me a minute, and then I'm like, I get it. And there are so many possibilities. We're talking about what can you do with the floating bead that Stacy taught us? And for me, we can do earrings, you can do necklaces, anklets, bracelets, and then Nordic Luna said a ring. And I'm like, just take the 2 pieces of chain and close it up and have a ring. But you can't have too big of knuckles. Oh, my ankle's a cankle. I have cankles. It's like one big woof. It's getting better. I am not as swollen as I used to be. We don't know. Last summer, my ankles were swollen the entire summer, and it sucked. This year, they're not as bad, and hopefully, it'll stay that way. So those are different ways to do that. So we talked about another thing that you can do for the purse handle is use the I do not have them up here anymore. I got them already. They are out on the studio. Last night we had they're 110 centimeters. So that would be the equivalent of like not 4.5 inches. It would be, measure this the end to end. The one that I did, I have here. This one is 3 inches. Holy, I am losing my hair. It is springtime. This one here is 3 inches. And so they're over 4, but not quite 4.5 inches in length of long tassels. And they are using the faux suede to create those. I gotcha. Well, you know what else I was thinking about? Have you guys seen the wrists? And I see them more at like Renaissance festivals and stuff, where you have a ring where you just have the chain around here, then a piece of chain going down, and then it goes to the bracelet. You could do that with this. That'd be cool. Oh. Okay. That would be cute, I think. So those are just different ideas. See, this is what I love about our time together. I know we're not, that we can sit here and talk about literally what I was talking about with our quote yesterday is that I want to teach you guys techniques so that we can think of different ideas. Remember, our brain is constantly going with this, and this, but our eyes are like our focus of where we're going to stop and get it done with. So we got to have this brain going so we think of different ways, but we also need to have the focus to get it accomplished. And so today's tutorial time is 100% what we were talking about yesterday. It all comes together and I love everything that we're talking about. So my fingers are not long. Yeah, I want longer fingers, Robin. Because if you guys really knew, yep, you can put at the end, you could put a charm on there. And even with that chain, instead of having the flat head pin at the bottom, if you would do a circle at the bottom, you can dangle a chain down from that. My hands are smaller than a woman's small hand. So like when I buy winter gloves, because I live in South Dakota and we need gloves in the winter, I actually go buy, most times than not, youth large. Buttercup's hands are about as big as mine, and I'm an adult. And that's why it was funny because someone was talking about on their live the other day about a tool that didn't fit their hand. I have a hard time finding tools to fit my hand because most tools are too big for my hand. And somebody was filtered. So, and another thing that I want us to look at, and I'm changing from jewelry to accessories now. You know the pens, the beadable pens, you can use, and I know I've been trying to give you guys ideas of how to use the bail tubes. You can put the bail tubes on the beadable pen with the other beads, and then you can have a charm. You just put a jump ring on there and you can have a charm hanging off of it so that your beadable pen has a little bit extra bling to it. Another idea. So that's what I love about us here, is that we can talk about different ways that we can use things that we already have, or that we have but we don't know what to do with. And that's some of those ideas. So I want us to think outside the box and share those with everybody, so that we can have different ways that we can use, so that we're not always doing it the same way over and over, just changing one little thing. You could even do that on a bracelet. You know, we've talked about having those, and you can have a bracelet with a charm on it. We've done the clusters down from it, you know, so it's all different kinds of things. Yep. And you can use the really big jump rings, because I have done that too. My mother-in-law does the beadable pens, and she likes to add charms to it. So we have actually done, to make it secure, I know you guys are going to laugh at me, we have actually done larger split rings too, and put those on there so that we can do those. I'm glad you made it too. So I hope you guys, and the thing that we got to remember is that this is always saved out on the tube, so that we can rewatch this. They're always saved underneath the live section over there. Ah ha ha, that is a good idea. So then it'll stay closed. So Nordic Luna takes on a jump ring. She will use UV resin on it to close the opening to keep it shut, so you don't lose your whatever you're dangling down from it. Great idea. I just have never done that before. See, that's what we're all here about. I know it was a tutorial day, but it turned into sharing, and I'm loving it. Because remember, sharing is caring. I was going to say, we don't have Chris. He used to be on here all the time, and anytime someone said sharing, he'd be like, in the comments, he'd be like, sharing is caring. Just, he has not been on in a while. Oh, no. Well, I'm going to hop off, because I do have to get ready to go meet with my accountant, so we can decide how in the world are we going to do the business for 2026 and moving forward. There are different ways when you have, I do not have a sole proprietor anymore. I am a LLC. You see it in the name of all of my social medias. I just keep it there because it differentiates me from any other Carol. Like, there's not a lot of CarolJo's out there, but it differentiates it, and I've kept it out there. So I'm going to go meet with her on what way do we want to do this. And when we have chat tomorrow night, maybe I'll share some of that with you, so that you can decide to talk with your accountants about what way works best for you from a business standpoint. And, you know, one thing for us is that we are in a state with no state income tax. So we just have to deal with the federal part of it. We don't have to deal with state. So we're unique. Not tonight, tomorrow night. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Tonight, we are going to have the Makers Meetup. Makers Meetup tonight, chat tomorrow. My outbuilding, I keep calling, thank you. We've got to move some metal, sheets of metal, and Ryan is going to start working that in the next week or two. Then we have to do the groundwork to be able to put the cement down. And so all of that is free because Ryan can do it. And then the cement part we have to pay for, so we got to make sure we got everything squared away for that. This is a project where we're paying for it as we go. We do not want to take on any debt to do this. So we got to get that going. And then after we get done with that, we'll pour the concrete. Then the building comes over and we set it on the concrete. And then we start sealing it all up in the inside by insulating it and sheetrocking it. We are going to leave, because if everybody knows, it is an actual 2-stall car garage that we are moving over here for the building. We are going to leave the garage door on it and not take that out at this point in time. And then So we just need to insulate the door type thing, but we're not going to like sheetrock over it, but we'll sheetrock everything else. And then figure out the heating and the cooling. So that's our progression, that and electrical. Before we sheetrock, we got to get the electrical done. So we're repurposing an outbuilding from a friend of ours that lives a mile down the road from us. We'll bring it over here and we will do that. So it is like we're working on it. Ryan has like he finished his Mustang. Yep. And so for me, what I'm envisioning in the long run is that we will have a big room, and I want to figure out how we can have a camera up in there so that you guys can see if I want it from that camera or if I want it from this camera when we do lives, and be able to control the lives from different cameras. So like if I want to do a packaging video here live, that we can do that and you guys can watch me run around and grab the stuff, um type thing. And then we are going to we're leaving the garage door in too also, so that if we do have big packages, I don't have to take them through a doorway. We can just open it up and have FedEx or UPS wheel them on in for me if I can meet them out there. I know, sounds silly, but we're thinking about it from that aspect too. Not in the winter because we don't want to lose all of our heat, but in the summer, spring, summer, and fall, we can do it that way. Um, but so I want to be able to do that, and then I also want to have a larger TV in there so that like if we're doing the packaging lives, it could be on a large screen TV so I can see your comments while we're packaging and I don't have to keep running back and going, what did they say? Oh, there it is, type thing. So we've got some things. I got to get a laptop out there because I'm not going to take my desktop out there and utilize the cloud that I have. I do have a cloud. And so I got to utilize that for all the documents so I can work on them out there and in here. We've got, so I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about, a large screen TV to use as a monitor on the wall so that I can see that. We've got to get our internet out there. We have an internet in our garage, and this is going to be about 4 feet away from the garage. So I don't know if I need to have a booster in the garage to go to that building, to make sure that we are having the connection that we have here. Or do we do something from the garage and go out a window and into another window type thing? We got to figure that out. So that's something we got to think about too. So there's a lot of things that we got to think about. And then my husband wants to, right now, the house. Yep, I could, but everybody lives so far away from me. Nobody lives like, nobody here. Like Ashley is actually, I think, the closest person to me, and she's still just under 2 hours away from me, type thing. So it's so funny because I'm like, when I went and decided to do live events or be on social media, yeah, oh yes, that could happen too. Oh, I like that. Thank you for saying that because I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking they'd be in the same building with me. See, this is why I love you guys, because you guys think of things and then I interpret them one way and you guys can interpret them another, and then we're like, hey, because then you would be up and you could read it. The one thing I don't like, and I will tell you, is that you can have something read your comments as you're going. And for me, I don't like that. And I don't want to do that. So yeah, oh, I like that idea of reading them out. I don't want to use that computer voice, and only because if I'm in the middle of a sentence, it starts talking over and you lose track of who's talking and you lose the conversation. Whereas if we're both live together, then yeah, that would work because then you would know when to pause, when not to pause, and all that. Yep. So yeah. Well, I have to tell you guys, thank you, Ducky. I hope you're feeling better today. Last night when I was doing the emails electronic communications to everybody. I use AI to generate it. And I literally, Ryan was up here talking to me while I was doing it, and I would be just a tad. Well, hey, a tad is better than not. So I will say that's awesome. Okay for you? Oh, it's okay, Geraldine. You can always watch it again. Um, but I would be like, hold on, honey. And then I would like say the name, what was in there. And then it would create my email. And he's like, why do you keep saying those one-liners into the computer? He was so funny. I'm like, because up here I told it what all of my um lines that are in there are, and then I tell it what each individual has, and it generates the electronic communication with the lines that I need.